The 1950s gave us some of Britain's most iconic cars, but hidden behind the legends are a handful of the rarest machines most people have never heard of. Built in tiny numbers, often by hand, these cars pushed boundaries in design, racing, and engineering. In this video, we're uncovering 7 of the rarest forgotten British cars that truly deserve the spotlight. Jensen 541, introduced in 1954. The Jensen 541 was a revolutionary British Grand Tourer that combined advanced engineering with distinctive styling, long before such combinations became common. Built by Jensen Motors in West Bromwich, the 541 was among the earliest production cars in the world to feature a fiberglass body, a bold move that significantly reduced weight while allowing for complex, flowing lines that gave the car its unmistakable silhouette. Powering the 541 was a 4.0-liter straight-six engine sourced from Austin, paired with a 4-speed manual gearbox. Though not a sports car in the traditional sense, it was impressively quick for its time, with a top speed exceeding 120 miles per hour, making it one of the fastest four-seaters on the road in the 1950s. The car's low drag coefficient and refined aerodynamics played a major role in its performance. Jensen engineers even tested the E-shape in a wind tunnel, which was highly unusual for the era. But perhaps the most groundbreaking feature of the 541 came later with the introduction of the 541 Deluxe, which was the first British production car to be fitted with disc brakes on all 4 wheels, a huge step forward in safety and control. The Jensen 541 wasn't mass-produced. Around 226 units of the original model were built before the company transitioned to the 541R and later the 541S. Each car was largely hand-built, and many were customized to their owners' tastes, making every example slightly unique. TVR Jomar. The TVR Jomar represents a little-known but significant chapter in the early history of British sports car manufacturing. Developed between 1955 and 1958, the Jomar was essentially a collaboration between TVR Engineering in Blackpool and American racing enthusiast Ray Seidel, who aimed to import lightweight British sports cars for SCCA racing in the United States. Based on early TVR chassis designs, the Jomar featured a tubular steel frame and a fiberglass body, keeping weight extremely low. Most examples were fitted with either Coventry Climax or MG X-Pag engines, depending on the buyer's preference and availability. While engine sizes varied, the focus was always on handling, agility, and acceleration, rather than outright top speed. The Jomar was one of the first TVRs to be offered commercially, though it was never sold widely in the UK. Instead, nearly all production was targeted for export to North America, making original examples extremely rare today, with only around 12 to 15 units believed to have been built in total. In terms of design, the car had a compact, low-slung profile with simple but attractive lines, optimized for track use. Despite its obscurity, the Jomar helped establish TVR's presence in motorsport and laid the foundation for the company's later success in the 1960s. As a transitional model bridging homemade specials and full-fledged production cars, the TVR Jomar holds a unique place in the marca's evolution. Tornado Talisman. The Tornado Talisman was a stylish and ambitious British sports coupe introduced in 1959 by Tornado Cars Limited, a small manufacturer based in Rickmansworth, Hertfordshire. It was the company's most refined and commercially serious effort, designed to offer the appearance and feel of an expensive Grand Tourer at a fraction of the cost. Built on a steel tubular chassis and clothed in a sharp, Italian-inspired fiberglass body, the Talisman stood out from typical kit cars of the era. It featured a long bonnet, fastback rear, and subtle detailing that gave it the character of far pricier vehicles. Uniquely for a low-volume car, it offered a 2+2 seating layout, making it practical for longer trips, a rarity in its class. Mechanically, the Talisman used readily available Ford running gear, most commonly the 105E 997cc or 1340cc side valve engines, along with McPherson strut front suspension and independent rear suspension. Though modest in power, the car was very light, which gave it responsive handling and lively performance for its time. Customers could buy the Talisman either fully built or as a kit, depending on their budget. Fewer than 200 examples were produced before tornado cars closed in the early 1960s, largely due to increasing competition and financial constraints. Falcon Caribbean launched in late 1959 by Falcon Shells of Waltham Abbey. The Caribbean was designed to be a road and track-ready body package, giving enthusiasts the freedom to build their dream car at home. Falcon provided the fiberglass body shell, bonnet, and doors, while the buyer supplied the mechanical parts, most commonly sourced from a Ford 100E or Anglia 105E. Lightweight by design, the body weighed just 80 kilograms, allowing even modest engines like the 1.1-liter side-valve four-cylinder to push the car beyond 85 miles per hour. Those lucky enough to install Coventry Climax units or tuned Ford Kent engines could easily reach speeds well into the triple digits. Visually, the Caribbean resembled something far more exotic. With sharply creased wings, a recessed oval grille, and a cam-style rear, its design was inspired by Italian GT cars of the era. Between 1959 and 1963, around 2,000 kits were sold, though only a fraction were ever completed. Many were abandoned after Britain tightened its purchase tax laws for kit cars in 1962, while others were raced and lost. Fraser Nash Sebring. The Fraser Nash Sebring was a rare, competition-focused sports car built in the mid-1950s by AFN, the company behind the legendary Fraser Nash name. Introduced around 1954, the Sebring was one of the final models in the marque's distinguished history, designed specifically for endurance racing. It carried the brand's motorsport DNA into world-class events like the 12 Hours of Sebring and the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Powered by the reliable and high-revving 2.0-liter Bristol straight-six engine derived from pre-war BMW designs, the Sebring delivered strong performance for its class. The engine was mated to a 4-speed gearbox and mounted in a lightweight chassis with independent front suspension and a live rear axle, offering a balance of durability and agility essential for endurance racing. The body was crafted in aluminium with a simple yet purposeful design, a long bonnet, open cockpit, and cutaway doors for easier driver access during pit stops. Aerodynamics were considered minimal but functional. The entire car was hand-built, and only a handful of examples, likely fewer than 10, were ever produced. Lotus Mark IX. In the golden era of 1950s motorsport, the Lotus Mark IX stood out as a symbol of minimalist brilliance. Designed by the legendary Colin Chapman, this was not just a car, it was a statement. Chapman believed that the secret to speed wasn't in brute horsepower, but in lightness and balance. The Mark IX brought that philosophy to life with its sleek, ultra-light aluminium body and low-slung profile, designed to cut through the air with minimal resistance. Under the bonnet, most Mark IX models were powered by a Coventry Climax 1.1-liter engine, a modest setup by racing standards, yet incredibly effective when paired with the car's feathery construction. Thanks to its aerodynamic shape and lightweight chassis, the Mark IX could reach impressive speeds and handle corners with exceptional precision. It was fast, agile, and utterly focused, a true driver's machine. Though only around 30 to 32 units were ever built, the Mark IX made its mark in iconic races like Le Mans and the Mille Miglia. Its performance surprised many of its larger, more powerful competitors. The car's real advantage was its ability to maintain speed through corners rather than just on straight lines, a radical concept at the time. Today, the Lotus Mark IX is a rare and prized collector's item. Each surviving example tells the story of a time when innovation was driven by pure passion. Like, subscribe, and let us know your favorite. Thanks for watching.